Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, after all the political intrigues and rigmarole, Alhaji Bamanga Tukur is no longer the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. He was the 9th chairman of the party in its 14-year history. For the records now, he spent about 1 year and 10 months in office, just 2 months shy of a record of 2 years. Under his chairmanship, the PDP witnessed an unprecedented crisis, the climax being the defection of 5 governors and 37 lawmakers of the party in the House of Representatives to the opposition All Progressives Congress APC. The endgame for Alhaji Tukur came at a meeting of the PDP Executive Committee, which took place Thursday, January 16th in Abuja. Before the meeting, there had been rumors that he had tendered his resignation letter to the president, but he strongly denied it. However, the situation began unraveling at the meeting when Alhaji Bamanga Tukur now made this speech. Take a listen to what he said.
Constantly fulfill and implement our manifestos on the basis of which our mandate to govern lives, and on that we shall be judged. Politicians, especially those in elected and appointed public positions, must be an embodiment of simplicity, humility, and true servants of the people and the party, who are our masters. The seat in our legislative and executive arm of government belong to political party platforms and are not owned by individual occupiers. The party must take discipline seriously, while party members are to appreciate that discipline in the party is a necessary ingredient of success. We must encourage expertise and division of labor. We must eliminate careerism and remain focused in reformation without revenge, reconciliation witut vengeance, and rebuilding based on the equity and justice. Only by so doing can our platform be thrived into a vehicle for driving an international national development and transformation. We must use good governance to translate our party's manifesto to our people for transforming our freely God-given endowment of land, water, and people into concrete, practical goods and services that will improve the life of our people. Through achieving environmental sustainability, qualitative education, and energy security, we shall achieve the empowerment of our people. Carefully followed, this roadmap shall lead Nigeria to the promised land of peace and security, with consequential inflow of substantial investment. In this manner, we shall address the problem of insecurity.
Well, Alhaji Bamanga Tukur there, you heard what he said, and he's no longer the chairman of the PDP. He spent, as I said, he spent a year and 10 months. If he had spent up to 2 years, that would have been a record, because on the average, most PDP chairmen spend not more than 1.5 years in office, and they usually leave under very controversial circumstances, just the same way Alhaji Bamanga Tukur has left. But no chairman of that party has had to deal with the kind of problem Bamanga Tukur dealt with. And some people would say he actually created some of this problem. So joining me on the program now to dissect all of this and what it means for the PDP, I have Mr. Onyeka Bani, who is the MBA chairman of Ikeja branch, right?
Correct.
I also have, of course, Mr. Chiman Naji, who is a lawyer as well as a political analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Let me start with you, Mr. Obani. Does this change anything for the PDP? The removal of Tukur?
No, to some extent. He was part of the problem of PDP, and you remember that one of the conditions those defected governors gave for return is that Bamanga Tukur must be removed as the chairman of the political party. He created so much crisis for PDP. You know, there was autocracy, you know, by his style of administration, and some of them did not find it very, very interesting. There was a particular governor, remember that, of in Sokoto, that was suspended because he failed to pick the telephone call of Bamanga Tukur, and several other issues, you know, cropping up. Even some members of the House, you know, had issues with him. He created so many problems, you know, around PDP, you know, that for the first time, a major political party, you know, lost 7 governors. I mean, 5 governors. In fact, it was even 7, until 2 had to come back, and then the other 5 defected. It has never happened in our political history. So he created those crises, and they were saying one of the reasons they will reconcile with President Jonathan is this issue of removal of Bamanga Tukur. But the presidency sustained Bamanga Tukur up to this point in time. If not for the presidency, Bamanga Tukur would have gone for a long time.
Mr. Naji, would you say this is what you expect to get, for instance, if you appoint a man who is about 80 years old into a very serious office like that? And that's one of the reasons some people would say he would call a governor, and because the governor refused to pick his call, he decided to suspend him.
Well, Bamanga Tukur has been around, and
quite well.
Quite around. He's been a former governor, a minister, this and that, and he has been in business. So private sector, public sector, he has been around. And such credential, especially in a polity like ours, where poverty is ravaging majority of the people, it tends to make you play God, because you will not be lacking of those who are ready to play subservient roles around you. And so it has a tendency of catapulting you to the domain of a God, you know, quote and unquote. Therefore, when he now came into the party as the chairman, it is only natural to expect that that kind of rambunctious attitude will be carried over. I am an untouchable, I've seen it all, nothing can happen to me. You could even see how he boasted that nobody could remove him.
Of course,
and not even the president. But coming so soon after he made that boast, that he ate his word, is something well consistent with our experience in Nigerian politics, because most Nigerian politicians lack character. So they are not able to see the handwriting to turn in the towel at the appropriate time.
Why is this? Why is it so difficult? I mean, and that's a question I've been asking myself. What exactly, I'm asking you now, Mr. Ubani, what exactly did he want? Here, Bamanga Tukur is seen as a very wealthy man. So what exactly was the problem? When things were not going well, everybody had expected that he would have honorably resigned his position from the party and not lead the party through the path that he led it.
Yeah, this issue of insatiability, I think is very common with a black man, you know, to remain always in the limelight. And of course, be in a position to dispense.
Let's not forget also that the president has also said he's going to give him
a plum job, a very plum job, exactly. Yeah. Plum job. He mentioned the word plum job. He's probably going to take him to China to be the ambassador. So he will still remain a recurring decimal in our political equation. So the point is this: it's very difficult for the black man, especially for Nigerians, to resign, even when the ovation is loudest. Very difficult for them not to be, you know, be called, you know, God, almost play the role of God, as my brother has already pointed out, you know, always been in the limelight, you know, people come and bow down to them, you know, because the crisis got to a level that, you know, one would have expected Bamanga to throw in the towel and say, look, for the sake of the stability of PDP, for the sake of the country, I am resigning, you know, if that will bring the desired peace in PDP. But he refused, and he was even boasting, as Riley pointed out, that not even the president can remove him. That was the height of that arrogance and boasting.
But we also have to be fair to him, because you said it too, that there's no way he could have been sustained in office without the backing of
the president also had, but what I'm saying, the same president that was backing him, he now made the boast that the president couldn't remove me. I think that's why the president was even the one that brought the letter from his pocket. And that is also very strange, because if I'm the one resigning, I should be the one to bring out a letter and then, show the people, the appropriate, either the secretary, I'm resigning from office. But that letter was produced by the president and from his pocket. And of course, the moment the president announced that Bamanga Tukur has resigned, there was an uproar. There was clapping of hands. People were, there was jubilation. That shows that eventually, see, that this man was like a bull in a China shop. everyone had made him a prayer point in PDP. How do we get rid of this man? Really? And immediately that announcement came. Oh, there was jubilation all over.
Mr. Naji, we saw this singing. I mean, they were singing.
He's a good fellow. He's a very good, jolly good fellow.
All of that.
Yes.
As if they were. I don't know. They were sounding as if they were going to miss him anyway.
The fact remains that this is my personal assessment. No matter what may have happened, to the contrary, I hold this opinion that he was sacked. I mean, call a spade a spade.
That's right.
And it's just like when a bad man dies, you don't have people coming to the microphone to say he was really a very bad man. People come and say the normal thing, may God forgive him, accept his soul. But they are elated that ordinarily the man has finally gone. So what are you struggling with him about? That you should come there to begin to chastise or castigate his name. You understand? So jolly fellow was that God has made it possible to, you understand? Because he actually occupied space in the PDP chair. There was no space for anybody to, and he was really like a headmaster, an old headmaster, okay? Every step was dogged by one controversy or the other, okay? If it is true that the presidency sustained him, it was perhaps that the presidency did not want to grapple with too many problems at the same time. Yes, you can solve simultaneous or polynomial equations, but you have to find X before you go to Y and Z. You have to solve them one after the other, even if you are taking the equation together. So the president was taking his time. But I must tell you that a lot of lessons have been learnt. Many remain to be learnt. Those who ought to learn must do so quickly for both the good of the party, the good of this country, and good of governance. You understand? In every situation, people should not bemoan their fate. You should try and see what is the lesson to be learned in this experience. One major experience is that in politics, you must be a team player.
Obviously was not.
Now, power is exercised. When it is exercised with humility, it speaks most eloquently. When you know that this man is powerful, your expectation is that he's going to use this power to suppress you. You find that you that will be at the receiving end may even have started behaving in such a way to attract that hammer. But if he refrains from using that hammer, you yourself, who have been causing the trouble to dramatize to the people, this man is a bad man, oh, he has used this power, he has this power, and you know that he's going to use it on me. But when he refrains from doing so, it may not take time before you come and even dobale and say, I'm so sorry, sir. It was, you understand? But in our climb, it requires a lot of discipline to be able to do that. And many of us do it as parents. All right. Yeah, children misbehave. You don't use hammer or something to give him a knock. You can chastise and then find a way to address the issue. Don't do it that way.
Let's just take a short break. When we come back, I want us to look at something else. Whether you think the PDP can rebound from this, because there's no question at all that the party is facing a very tough crisis. So now that Bamanga Tukur is gone, will things go back to what they used to be? So stay with us, don't go away. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions. Welcome back. Now, if you listen to President Jonathan at that meeting, he said he was very sure that the problems of the PDP would be solved, and that he's also sure that some governors who had left will be coming back to the party. So that's what we're going to discuss now. And I still have Mr. Obani and, of course, Mr. Naji here with us. And let me start with you, Mr. Naji. Do you think with all of this now, I mean, with Bamanga Tukur gone, the PDP is back to life again, and that we'll see a situation where those governors who have left the party will come back?
Nothing is impossible.
Especially when you also consider the fact that Murtala Nyako, the governor of Adamawa State, has said they are not coming back.
Like I said, nothing is impossible. But like I did say before we went on that short break, there are lessons that have been learned. And there are also lessons that must necessarily be learned. That question, if it proceeds from the presumption that perhaps Bamanga Tukur was the cause of the problem.
It appears that's what everybody is saying.
Well, I don't know whether that is exactly. He may have exacerbated the problem. There were some problems of repression and oppression. You know, when you have power to dispense some largesse and the resources for you to dispense are limited, you begin to make choices about who gets what, when, and how. Those people who didn't get it will feel marginalized. If they're able to exert some pressure on the system, they can group themselves. So the situation now is that, yes, Bamanga Tukur may have stepped aside, as the case may be. If he inflicted any damage on the system, it will take time to heal that wound. You understand? And the people who have left PDP in frustration, because some of them did not want to leave ordinarily, because it's like when you are in Oxford,
they may come back.
Yes, some of them may come back, but it can no longer be the same. Some may not come back, not because they may not wish to come back, but a lot of water has passed under the bridge. You understand? You know, there's some measure of human dignity, even if we lack some of these things.
I get that. Yes. Mr. Bani, what do you think?
I doubt very much whether any of them will come back, because actually the main target in the PDP crisis wasn't actually Tukur, apart from the fact that Tukur does not have the finesse, character-wise, even to deal with those situations. Their target was Jonathan. It's still Jonathan, because of the agreement that Jonathan is going to do one time. And that agreement, somebody says, is still alive, and that agreement is, is held by a particular governor, that is the Niger State governor. So they felt that Bamanga Tukur was so loyal to the president that he was now a bulwark. He was really disturbing them from getting access to the president in terms of telling him what they have agreed upon. So now that Bamanga Tukur is out of the way, I doubt whether President Jonathan's ambition has died. No. The presidency is still alive. I mean, the issue of his ambition is still very alive. And I even hear that the wife now has suggested 2 names. The wife chooses who becomes the chairman of the political party. There are 2 names we mentioned. And so as long as the woman still has an interest, who becomes the chairman, and the 2015 ambition is still very alive, and there is no way, and then some other people have given conditions that will make them to come back to PDP, and those conditions have not been fulfilled. Remember, Amechi said, return back the oil block that belongs to Rivers State that you took away and gave to your state. And I don't think the president is ready to do that. That is the reason why he said that if you give me back the oil block you've taken away, I will come back to PDP. So I don't see the president doing that. The issue of the second term ambition of the president still very much alive. I don't see that ambition dying and then probably bringing these other guys back to the PDP. So it is very, very unlikely
how much
that any of them.
Yes. would you say the crisis has done to the ambition of the president?
Yeah, the damage is, I mean, Tukur's behavior. Yeah, because you need the
PDP crisis.
Crisis as a whole, you need everyone. You know, the state, in every state, the governor is in charge of a structure, what you call political structure. If you look at the election of 2011, Rotimi Amechi gave the president the highest vote.
Yeah, 98%.
98%. And so all other states also. So, you know, even in Abia State, where I come from. So the governors are very, very key, and they hold the political structure of every state. Now, if you allow the governors to leave your political party, and he goes away with the political structure, with all the membership in his state, almost, if not 100, maybe up to 80% and all that, then it has done damage to you politically, and probably has taken this structure to a new political platform, a new political party entirely. And so you may not be expecting the same majority of votes in that state when election comes up in 2015. So that's the damage. So there has been what we call collateral damage done by the intransigent behavior of Bamanga Tukur. Even when those guys wanted to have meeting with president, the president himself was not forthcoming. There was a time he kept them waiting, you know, for a meeting. He came back from abroad and they said they're meeting on Sunday, and that day he didn't even give them, and they came and they were disgraced. So not engaging them, the following day those guys announced that they have defected. So you shouldn't allow such a thing to happen even in your family. Don't allow your wife to leave your home and say, I'm going to the court.
But the situation is not irretrievable.
Let me make a point here. The Nigerian political scene is not something that is subject to mathematical configuration. You know the reason? Many people, even some governors, because they say those who have the palm front are assured of the followership of the goods. Drop the palm front, and the goods, then it becomes clear to you that they have nothing to do, that what they are looking at is the palm front.
They wouldn't go for you.
We have seen many governors, after their 4 or 8 years, they fizzle away. Like personal, they don't even mean anything to anybody in their former states where they held sway. What is the reason? Because they were not the issue. They were not grassroots people. People fluttered around them for what they could get. Therefore, we have to be very careful when we are making analysis here. In the public domain, there is the presumption that once a governor pulls up, he has pulled the state. It's not true. You know the reason? The people who belong to political parties are not necessarily the people who vote. They are not the voters. Many of these governors have spent their lifetime in politics, building the political party that brought them into power. It's not going to happen overnight that you switch on and you switch off. The people in the village are not likely to follow you like that. You know the reason? Those people who are in the corridors of power at the state, in a political party, if they move away from that political party, a new structure for that political party will emerge.
It takes time for a structure to be built.
It will emerge because the political party has made a name in that state. You understand? Let us call the issued name now. APC, and PDP. You understand? Now, APC is a new political party. They have to work hard to build their structures. Certainly not for this 2015. Do you understand? In many states, in many states, you understand? In some states, yes, there's no doubt that some governors may be loved by their people beyond the political party they belong to. Those are the ones that will say, I move here, they go. I move there. Take the case of some senators that will not come back. If they switch over to the other political party because they want to get the nomination, they can't go nowhere. They will go nowhere. We have seen that some of the political tigers we have are not grassroots people. It is the party structure that does everything for them, disconnects anybody who wants to pick up anything, and foist them there. So they are paper tigers. So when they are threatening, that's why some people, some parties have not taken them seriously.
But let me say this: what builds a political structure is actually money. As long as the governor is still in power and still gets his allocation monthly, and then he has a loyalty. He has a loyalty.
Yeah, because these governors are still in power.
They are still in power. Yes. They are still in power. And as I'm speaking to you now, they're already structuring and building up new structures, getting loyalists in all the wards who will now do the footwork and all that. So it's issue of money. As long as the money is flowing, you build a structure, and as long as the money is not there, that's where I agree with you. So they are still in power.
Because if that is going to be a balancing of power. Yeah. Like I said,
we'll wait and see.
Depends on the particular personality.
Is just around the
but coming back to PDP, very unlikely, as I said earlier, very
Nothing
much
is impossible in politics.
But if they do it, they have lost credibility.
There's nothing like credibility for Nigerian politicians.
And I think
forget about credibility. Nobody has it.
We just watch and see. I mean, it's on that note. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Thank you very much, Mr. Chimanaji, for your time, and thank you for your contributions. Mr. Ubani, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you very much also for your contributions. And it's just a matter of wait and see.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for watching, and if you've missed this program or want to watch it again, you can do so by visiting our website. It is tv360nigeria.com. All you need to do is look out for the category DEJI360. You can also watch us on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/TV360 Nigeria. Follow us on Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria, and you could like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at TV360 online. Thanks again for watching. I am DEJI360. I'll see you next week.